can do anything. Oh, we can change the world. We can do anything with love.
Welcome to Passion. I'm your host, Britt Ivy, and today we have with us Dr. Ross Pelton. Welcome, Ross. Thank you so much for being here today.
Hi, Brett. It's nice to be with you and your viewers.
Well, we really appreciate your presence here today. We have some exciting topics to speak about and a couple clips of you on a couple different programs.
Right.
One is a local news show, and the first clip we're going to see is of you speaking about probiotics, and you're actually on a Texas news station.
Right.
So can you tell our audience a little bit about how you got invited to a show in Texas?
Sure.
Thank you.
I'm a consultant for Dr. Ohhira's Probiotics, and the company that has the sole rights to import Dr. Ohhira's into the United States from Japan is Essential Formulas, and their home base is in Texas. So they invited me down to be on Good Morning Texas, which is a widely viewed morning news program.
Right.
And talking about the benefits of probiotics, and specifically the uniqueness of Dr. Ohhira's Probiotics, which is, I believe, the finest probiotic product in the world.
Well, I didn't know that till right now that you represented them, and that is an amazing product, and my whole family's taken that product for years. So tell us a little bit about why it is the world's best.
Well, first I'll say that new science is kind of explaining how the good bacteria in our intestinal tract are one of the most critical parts of our immune system. They control an enormous amount of functioning in the body. So good bacteria are really critical to our health.
Okay.
And Dr. Ohhira's is a really unique product. It contains 12 synergistic strains of bacteria, but it's produced in a very unique manufacturing process. The bacteria grow in mammoth fermentation vats for 3 to 5 years.
Oh my goodness.
And during this fermentation time, the bacteria and their metabolic processes are producing all of the nutrients and the short-chain fatty acids and the immune system enhancing components that other bacteria don't begin to produce until they get into your intestinal tract. But when they encapsulate Dr. Ohhira's, it's like a therapeutic loading dose of all these other components.
Wonderful.
So it's a very unique product. Excuse
Amazing.
me.
Sure.
Yeah. And so I recommend that people take Dr. Ohhira's on a maintenance basis, but it's also remarkable therapeutically.
Okay.
I had a woman approach me a week ago, told me she read about Dr. Ohhira's in my newsletter 2 months ago. She started taking it. She said, I've had irritable bowel syndrome for over 10 years.
10 years.
I started taking Dr. Ohhira's, and in 2 weeks, it's gone.
Amazing.
So that's a really powerful testimonial. Dr. Ohhira's is good against things like Clostridium difficile, H. pylori. There's a very serious bacterial infection called MRSA.
MRSA, is that
and right? Dr. Ohhira's has been shown in cell culture studies to be effective against MRSA.
Amazing. Well, we will talk
So, yeah.
about that a little bit more after we see the clip,
Yeah,
okay?
you bet.
So we're going to be headed into the clip here in a moment, and we can see your interview
All
on
right.
Good Morning Texas. And that's quite a prestigious show, so congratulations
Thank you.
for that
Thank
and
you.
for all of your work.
Well, I'm
And
always...
to be associated with Dr. Ohhira's is amazing.
Yeah, I'm passionate about it. It's a really unique product.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's amazing. So we're going to go ahead and roll into that clip. Whenever you are ready in the control room, we're going to clip number 1.
Live from WFAA, this is Good Morning Texas.
Well, flu and cold season is almost here, but did you know that you ever even think about battling these bugs with beneficial bacteria? Dr. Ross Pelton, a pharmacist, author, and a radio host, he knows the power of probiotics. Good morning to you.
Good morning. Nice to
Welcome.
meet you.
I'm glad that you're here. Well, you know, I think people would be surprised to know that bacteria that resides within our digestive tract really can have a positive effect when it comes to helping our immune system.
You're right. Many people, including a lot of health professionals, don't realize that a majority, over 70% of the cells in our immune system are located in our intestinal tract. So this is why it's so important to have a healthy digestive tract for optimal health. Remember, a strong immune system is your #1 defense against a wide range of health problems, especially cold and flu, as we approach this winter cold and flu season.
Well, that really is a surprise to learn that. And I'm just curious how it works. How did this bacteria within our digestive system, how can it positively affect us?
Actually, the good bacteria support our immune system in multiple ways. I'll just name a couple. #1, the good bacteria in our intestinal system actually generate and secrete compounds that are natural antibiotics. They're called bactericidins, and they kill bad bacteria in our intestinal tract. The good bacteria also secrete compounds called organic acids, and this creates a slightly acidic condition in the intestinal tract, which is the optimal environment for the health and proliferation and growth of the good bacteria, but it hinders and inhibits the growth of bad bacteria.
Well, as we mentioned in the beginning of the interview, I mean, you're a radio host, you're also an author, but you're a pharmacist.
I'm a pharmacist, that's
and
right.
So you have the opportunity to really analyze a lot of different options that exist for different types of products to help battle the flu.
Right.
What are some that you recommend?
Well, probiotics is at the top of my list, but first I'd like to take a few minutes to educate people about important issues when choosing a quality probiotic product. Quality is #1. Over and above the number of bacteria in the product, the quality of those bacteria is more important. Are they effective? Do they work? So here's some things to consider. Do the bacteria in the product survive the harsh acidity, the harsh acid environment in the stomach, so that they're still alive when they reach the small intestine? Also, can those bacteria in the probiotic adhere to the lining of the digestive system and stay in the body to work rather than getting flushed out?
Right.
Third, is there good research on the probiotic that proves and documents that they work? And here's a really good point.
Right.
Live bacteria cultures are always going to be more effective than products that contain freeze-dried bacteria. And
Really?
the majority of products on the market are freeze-dried. And fifth, and here's a point I stress, yogurt and acidophilus milk really do not contain therapeutic levels of probiotics, and a lot of those products contain sugar, which is also harmful to the immune system.
Well, that's a lot of information. It's a lot of information for a consumer to kind of digest, if you will, and try to kind of keep on track. So you have specific products that you recommend. Can you go over some of those?
That's right. Well, I recommend Dr. O'Hara's because it has a unique blend of 12 different strains of beneficial bacteria, and they have a unique manufacturing process that also produces supplemental products that are called prebiotics. These are organic acids, amino acids, vitamins and minerals that really support and enhance and accelerate the activity and the benefits of the good bacteria in your digestive tract.
So the 5 points that you went over today and all the different things that the consumer needs to consider, it's all being addressed.
Dr. O'Hara's really attains all of those critical issues for a quality probiotic. And Dr. O'Hara's is beneficial in treating common intestinal complaints like diarrhea and gas and bloating, and also more serious conditions like Crohn's disease, colitis, irritable bowel syndrome. But one important point I want to stress. Over and above therapeutic applications, I like to stress for adults and children, take 1 or 2 capsules of Dr. O'Hara's daily to boost your immune system for support so that you can...
Just to have that support.
You bet, so that you have
especially
better support
in the flu season
against
coming
cold
up.
and flu.
Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate it.
Wow, that was power-packed. Very informative.
Good.
So you're a bit of a walking encyclopedia. And before I forget, you add a lot of value to this town. A lot of people turn to you for advice, and you add a lot of value to this town. And we just thank you very much. I know a lot of people, when they're stuck with a health issue, they'll think, let's go ask Ross. So we're very grateful that you're here.
Thank you.
Your beautiful wife, Taffy, in town is also an asset to the community, so thank you for that. So I'd love to share with our audience a little bit about what we just saw in that clip in regards to probiotics and Dr. O'Hara's specific formula in regards to MRSA, which is a scary word for a lot of people around the world. Why is that a scary word?
MRSA stands for methicillin-resistant Staphylococcus aureus. I know that's a mouthful, but it's a very dangerous bacteria, causes very serious infections, and it's at the point now where there are very few antibiotics that are effective against it. So it's a global health crisis.
Oh my.
We don't have the antibiotics to treat these MRSA infections. In cell culture studies, Dr. O'Hara's has killed MRSA.
Oh my
So it's a
goodness.
powerful antibiotic, but it's an over-the-counter, non-prescription probiotic.
Wow.
And another important thing that probiotics do, they produce things in your body called defensins, which are natural antibiotics. So the good bacteria are creating natural antibiotics in our body. They're producing short-chain fatty acids, which adjust the acid-base balance, so it's favorable for good bacteria, but it suppresses the growth of yeast and bad bacteria.
Okay.
So there's multiple ways that good bacteria really support your immune system. So it's a critical issue. And now
Amazing.
something that's really exciting to me, Britt, is there's new information that shows that the bacteria in your intestinal tract are communicating with your brain.
Interesting.
So
Now that is
that's
fascinating.
fascinating.
That doesn't surprise me at all.
So here's a study that was done. There are 2 strains of mice. One of the strains of mice are bred to be highly timid and anxious. The other strain of mice are bred to be very bold and exploratory.
Okay.
Scientists took the bacteria out of the intestinal tract of both strains of mice, switched them into the opposite strain. It totally reversed their behaviors.
No
Just
kidding.
by changing the bacteria.
That
So
is
those
so exciting.
bacteria really control a lot of things, and now we're finding out that they communicate with our brain and influence our moods and our emotions. So exciting new science with probiotics.
Amazing.
Yep.
That is fascinating. That doesn't surprise me because the entire body talks to
Yeah.
the entire body at all times. But now we know, because we're also told that much disease comes from unhealthy colon, unhealthy elimination, you know, and that actually is at the basis for much of disease.
Yes, true.
So this is cleaning up that whole factory, and how wonderful we can get it over the counter, and
Yep.
it's so powerful.
So here's another thing. There's a lot of what we call crossover between anxiety and depression and obesity.
Yes, Ross.
And obesity is a worldwide problem also. And so here's a study with twins in many, or not many, but some sets of identical twins.
Okay.
One of the twins will remain lean throughout his or her life, and the other one becomes obese. Scientists took bacteria out of the intestinal tract of a lean twin and an obese twin, identical twins, put them into mice, and the mice that got the bacteria from the lean twin stay lean. The mice that get the bacteria from the obese twin blow up and become obese.
Oh my gosh.
So bacteria are also influencing whether or not we become obese. And many people try really hard to lose weight. They might not realize that the bacteria that they carry in their intestinal tract could be keeping them obese.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So it's almost like we have little computers, little genes in every single little cell,
That's right.
and they're all talking.
So
What a
I'm really
blessing.
passionate about getting people to clean up their digestive tract and their intestinal tract and take a good quality probiotic like Dr. O'Hara's to really turn around things like obesity and anxiety and depression and so forth.
Smart.
Yeah.
So when people go out for frozen yogurt and they're eating yogurt and thinking that they're doing worlds of good for their intestines, they might need a little bit more than that. What is your take on
I
that?
advise against yogurt. A lot
Oh.
of people come to me in the drugstore, and after antibiotics, they say, well, I'll just take yogurt. I tell them that the number one thing in most yogurts is sugar,
Yes.
which is not good. That actually feeds the bad bacteria and candida. And even if you have a good quality yogurt, you're not getting a therapeutic dose of the probiotic. So I would rather that people take a really good quality probiotic like Dr. O'Hara's.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's going to do a world of good for our viewers. I'm just so excited that this information is getting out there. And sugar also is what cancer feeds on. Is
Yep,
that true?
absolutely,
Okay.
yep.
I've heard that, but it's amazing to realize
Yeah.
that something that simple could have such a powerful shift as just getting rid of sugar.
Yep. Cancer metabolism is an altered cellular metabolism where they feed on sugar. They get their energy from what's called glycolysis, which is the burning of sugar. So a low sugar diet, a low carbohydrate diet, or at least eliminating the processed carbohydrates, the white flour, white bread, white rice, and so forth, plus all the sugars, is an anti-cancer diet.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Great. Thank you so much.
Sure.
So in a few minutes, we're going to go to a second clip of yours. You're being interviewed by a friend, Craig Smullen, on 5 on 5. He has conducted some amazing 5 on 5 interviews, and we're going to see you interviewed on that in a couple minutes on that program on KOBI. So lead us into that clip a little bit by transitioning us regarding antidepressant naturally, how you treat that. And going into the clip, talking about your latest book, The Pill Problem.
Well, The Pill Problem is a book that grew out of my passion for women's health. And when I researched one of my earlier books, which is titled The Drug-Induced Nutrient Depletion Handbook, I was amazed to find out that oral contraceptives deplete more nutrients than any other class of commonly prescribed drugs.
Really?
And over time, these nutrient depletions cause other health problems, and then women get symptoms. They go to a doctor and get another drug when they should be taking the appropriate nutrients to prevent these problems.
I see.
So The Pill Problem is a book that teaches women how to prevent or reverse the problems that occur because of nutrient depletions caused by the oral contraceptives. And one of the areas I'm most concerned about, some of the nutrients depleted by oral contraceptives are nutrients that are required to produce neurotransmitters like serotonin and dopamine and norepinephrine. So women taking oral contraceptives are much more likely to become depressed over time. And I hate antidepressants. They have terrible side effects. So anything I can do to help women stay off antidepressants, I feel like I'm doing a good service.
Well, thank you so much. You are doing a good service. Thank you so much. Well, we are going to let the audience see clip number 2 now of your interview on 5 on 5.
All right, good.
All right, thank you.
Welcome to our 5 on 5. We're pleased to be joined by Ross Pelton, the author of The Pill Problem. Ross, thanks for being here. How are you?
Hey, Craig, nice to be with you and your viewers.
Our pleasure. And so you're a local
I am. I'm a
resident
local
as well.
pharmacist, you bet.
Very good. Okay, so tell us The Pill Problem. What is this about?
Well, The Pill Problem teaches women how to take oral contraceptives and prevent most of the side effects. And most women don't realize that there's quite a wide range of side effects from oral contraceptives. So that's what I'm trying to do, publicize this topic.
Okay, and so how did you come to realize this problem?
Well, years ago I wrote a book titled How to Prevent Breast Cancer, published by Simon & Schuster, and I've been a passionate advocate of women's health issues since then. A couple of years ago I wrote a book titled The Drug-Induced Nutrient Depletion Handbook, and in researching that book I was amazed to find out how many nutrients are depleted by oral contraceptives. All the B vitamins, vitamin C, folic acid, many minerals, CoQ10, an amino acid called tyrosine, and these nutrient depletions over time lead to health problems. And then, unfortunately, women get symptoms, go to a doctor, get another drug. They really need to take some of the nutritional supplements that will counteract these nutritional depletions so they can take birth control pills and remain healthy.
Is the public informed on this, or are or is the public at large just ill-informed?
The public at large isn't really informed, and neither are physicians. I've got multiple studies referenced in the book, but physicians don't have time to dig into the archives and find all these studies, but this is scientifically documented, so I've got all the references.
Wow, okay. And what do you recommend women do in this case?
Well, first I want them to read the book and get educated. And taking a good high-potency vitamin mineral supplement is a good idea. Extra coenzyme Q10, extra folic acid, and I've outlined all of these recommendations in the book. So I'm not just reporting the problem, I'm giving women some answers so that they can know what to do and how to correct these problems or how to prevent them.
Very good. All right, we're going to take a quick break. We'll have much more with Ross in a moment. Stay with us. Welcome back to our 5 on 5. Again, we're here with author Ross Pelton, author of The Pill Problem. So, Ross, we're talking about oral contraceptives. You're seeing a major problem in America, I assume, or is it worldwide?
Right, it's worldwide. There's over 100 million women worldwide taking oral contraceptives, over 12 million in the United States. And some of the critical side effects that I'm talking about are problems that develop because of the nutrient depletions. I'm most concerned about depression. Several nutrients are depleted that increase the likelihood that women will become depressed. Vitamin B6 is required to produce serotonin. Tyrosine is required for the production of dopamine and norepinephrine. These are the neurotransmitters that are involved in mood. And so women have a greater likelihood of becoming depressed. And I'm very concerned about all the side effects from the antidepressants. So I want to do everything possible to keep women off antidepressants. So these are important nutrient depletions. And I recommend that women take extra B6 and extra tyrosine to prevent these problems.
Well, that was a powerful interview as well. Yes, congratulations.
Thank you.
Getting all this public awareness risen here. So thank you so much for being
welcome,
on
sure.
our show today too. I'd like to show the audience the book here, your latest book of 10, The Pill Problem, and I believe we can go to thepillproblem.com
Correct.
to order a copy either electronically or paperback that can be mailed to you. So there we are. Well, congratulations on this latest book as well.
Thank you, Rhett. And
Yes.
my next project, Beyond the Pill Problem, I'm producing an online 3.5-hour seminar, Natural Therapies for Anxiety and Depression. So I'm so committed to this issue around antidepressants and anti-anxiety drugs and the problems that they're causing for people. I want people to know that they're really good, effective natural therapies that can be used. And so I'm doing a whole program, and if people connect with my website, which is naturalpharmacist.net, they can sign up for my free online health newsletter and get on my mailing list and learn about when all of my seminars get launched.
Great. I'm sure you have thousands, maybe going on hundreds
Well,
of
not
thousands
thousands,
on
but I got a
the
lot of them.
newsletter. Wonderful. Great. Well, I have a feeling that that's going to keep increasing.
Yeah, after the one on natural therapies for anxiety and depression, the next one's going to be natural therapies for ADD and ADHD, and that's such a controversial topic and a charged issue for so many parents and their kids that I'm anxious to get that one out there also.
Oh, that'll be wonderful because traditional medicine wants to just throw more drugs at them, which compound the problems,
Horrible.
correct?
Yep.
Yeah, yeah. It's rare that one will just solve something.
Well, they mask the symptoms, but they're
Right.
not curing the problem at all, and they're creating long-term problems in terms of changing the brains of these young kids. It's not it's not good reports at all.
Right.
Yeah.
And many years ago, before many of these drugs surfaced, there were no incidences of things like Alzheimer's. I mean, many years
Minimal,
ago.
certainly minimal, yeah.
Minimal,
Yeah.
almost unheard of 50 years ago, before many of these drugs came out.
Yeah. And autism and
Yes,
Yep,
yes,
so-
amazing.
And it's astounding to me that the United States uses 5 times more Ritalin than the entire rest of the world combined. I mean, that's something very, very wrong, to be the massive use of it in drugging of our children.
Right, right. Well, we would love to continue to learn more about natural remedies to get healthy. Not to mention the changes coming along in the healthcare system. I would imagine any way that we can address our own health issues with over-the-counter supplements would be beneficial. I know for years the FDA tried to stop many of these things. Is that still an issue? Or
Yeah, it is. The FDA and state medical boards still go after doctors who use natural therapies. Sometimes they take them through the courts and massive financial outlay that bankrupt them, and so
Oh,
it's
my goodness.
horrible.
It's too bad they can't just leave people alone that are trying to do good in the country. It's not always about the buck, right?
Right, and my philosophy on health is that we should always use natural therapies first and use medications as a last resort, but we have it just turned around. Doctors write prescriptions, and that's their first line of approach.
Right, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. And health really, you know, my 93-year-old grandma would say, you know, you've got your health, you've got everything, because as soon as you're sick, however wealthy you are, whatever car you drive, whatever you own, as soon as you're sick, and I've had a couple instances myself, nothing else really matters. It all pales. And I have yet to meet someone on their deathbed wanting just one more trip to the ATM, right? You know, it's like, no, they want to live longer. They want to be surrounded by their friends and family and hopefully see their friends and family healthy.
Well, the old adage, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure, I don't believe in that. An ounce of prevention is worth a ton of cure. And I have a slide that I use in some of my seminars that shows a huge roller coaster cranking up slowly. Everybody knows what roller coasters are like.
Right.
But when you reach the top of a roller coaster and start going down the other side, you speed up dramatically, and that's my metaphor for the aging process. You can creak along a little bit different every year. You know, I'm not quite as flexible as I used to be, but I really encourage people to take proactive steps in their health early on, rather than reaching the top of that roller coaster and starting to go down at the speed of light. You can still turn things around, but it's very, very difficult once that aging process and the destructive bodily processes kick into gear. So prevention is really important.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So those old wives' tales have some
validity,
wisdom in them. Yes. I love the apple a day myself. I'm hooked on a giant Fuji organic apple every night. I just love that. So I figure that's actually working.
Yeah.
So in the last couple minutes that we have here, Dr. Pelton, what would you recommend to our audience if they were to just go out to the store, nutritional supplement store tomorrow? what would be the first line of defense? What would they fill their shopping cart with?
Well, I think that everybody would be well served if they took a well-formulated, higher potency multivitamin, multimineral supplement. I think a one-a-day vitamin is kind of a Mickey Mouse concept, kind of like the minimum wage of nutrition.
Right.
One-a-day vitamins are formulated along the lines of the RDA, which is called the recommended daily allowance. I think the RDA stands for the really dumb allowance.
Okay.
Nothing to do with optimal health and wellness.
Right.
And then I think everybody should be taking omega-3 fish oils. Everybody should be taking vitamin D as a supplement. I recommend 5,000 units of vitamin D a day for adults, and on
Excellent.
my website, which is naturalpharmacist.net, I have an article on my blog that teaches parents how to dose their children
Perfect.
for different ages and different weights. So those are critical issues. I also have a new posting on my blog about a book review I did called Death by Calcium.
Oh my.
Fascinating book. Nobody should be taking calcium. That's total counter to what most people believe and have been taught.
Wow.
But well documented, scientifically referenced, and so I'm trying to get people off calcium, but on good nutritional supplements otherwise. Coenzyme Q10 is one of my favorite nutrients. It's probably the most important anti-aging nutrient that's ever been discovered, so I recommend that for everyone.
Great.
Yeah.
Great. Thank you. Well, that gives us a good start.
All right.
Gives us an excellent start. So when will your seminar begin?
My seminar will probably be live in a couple of weeks. We're doing the final editing stages of the audio portion that goes with the slides. And it'll be posted on my website and on my Facebook. People can go to my website, which is naturalpharmacist.net, and click on the link at the top of the page and sign up for my free nutrition newsletter, and it will announce things when people sign up and have their name on my mailing list.
Excellent.
Right.
All right. Well, thank you so much for being here on Passion today. I'm so excited to have you back. I have a lot more questions, so maybe you'll join us for a second episode.
All right, Britt. Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much.
Nice to be with you and having the opportunity to share my passion on your show.
Excellent. Thanks again. Bye-bye. Well, thank you so much for joining us today on Passion. I'm your host, Britt Ivy, and we look forward to seeing you again soon. Bye for now.